Puay Leng. I'm the Clinical Director of OJOY, and I've been in OJOY since 2004. So back then, right, in 2003, I was working in a social service agency, and we do work with older people, but more in the context of providing befriender services to them, via volunteers. We do have the sense that these elderly, they need help. They do have psycho-emotional issues. They do have like problems with their family members. They do have problems in terms of like when their health fail. But these are not the elderly that will actually walk into a family service center and say, "Hey, I need counselling. I want to see a counsellor." We need a center where we actually cater specifically to their needs. And we want to be able to bring this service right to the doorstep, which is why this whole idea of we'll provide home visit, to this elderly. Perhaps not just to their home, but also to the places where they kind of hang out, for example, senior activity centers or daycare centers where it's convenient and accessible to them. So it's based on this whole idea that there is a service gap, and then we see a need on the ground. When we first started in 2004, there's only one staff, that's me. I do everything, from casework to accounts to whatever, looking for funds. Fast forward 16 years later, today we have a team about around 15 staff. It's not a very big team, but I think we have grown over the years. In terms of volunteers, right, when we first started, we have maybe 20-30 volunteers. To date, now we have about 100 committed volunteers who volunteer regularly with us. In terms of program, when we first started, we were doing counselling for older people. We also already have our para-counselling service for older people. Now we still have these two core programs. We have expanded, of course. So we have a health-oriented aging program, which I feel is a very good program. It's taking care of the elderly in the community while they are still able, as aging catch up with them, if they so need our other services, whether it's para-counselling or whether it's counselling and casework services, then we can also look into their needs. In terms of the services for elderly, we are quite complete now. We're taking care of them at different levels. But over the years, as we work with elderly, we also realize the importance of mental health. And we find that we should also catch them when they are younger, not just at old age, So we have also expanded our counselling program to include younger people with mental health issues. We are now an IPC, which is an institution of public character. So this means that we can issue tax exempt receipt. So this has helped us a lot in terms of our fundraising effort. So this is how we have kind of grown over the years. I'm in charge of all the new referrals that come into the center, and I'm in charge of assigning them to counsellors for them to follow up. So that's one role. Another role is I will supervise of counsellors. We would discuss to see how they are progressing in the cases. One other area which I also manage is management of the volunteer para-counselors. We need to look into their recruitment, their training, and also assignment of cases and follow up, and planning the whole year's volunteers program for them. In addition, I also provide counselling to clients. I work mainly with people in their 50s and 60s. Many of them are caregivers. They are stressed out taking care of either the parents, the in-laws, or even the spouses. For other clients, right, some of them, they have diagnosis of depression. Often their underlying causes will be like relationship issues with their family members, including their grown-up children. A lot of joy, I find. Like I'm going to attend the health-oriented aging program. Every time during a celebration, I look at the elderly, the joy on their faces. They are so happy, they are so engaged, I find it very happy. I find a lot of joy in that. When we conduct group work, right, and then we do reminiscence with the elderly, I see the joy in the elderly's face as they talk about the good old days, how they were when they're young, and they were so happy sharing. They said that, I never have a chance to talk to anybody about this except hear. I'm very happy to hear that. I also find very joyful when my clients tell me slowly with counselling, they manage to kind of overcome their own fear. They learn to stand up for themselves. They become more empowered. They no longer keep quiet and just let other people step over them. When they share with me, they are able to overcome all this. I'm very happy for them. People's comment about my work when they heard that I'm doing counselling, the first thing they will ask me is, oh, isn't it very depressing for you to always hear about people's problems? So we work with elderly, you see no future. We work with young people, you have a goal for them. Next time they will blossom into someone, they can contribute to the society. But for elderly, what do they look forward to? My answer to them usually is, no doubt the elderly, they may have a lot of problems, but I also see their strength in their coping because they have survived for so many years with the problem. I see a lot of strength, I pick up their strength, I talk to them about their strength, and I also see a lot of resilience in them. And the other thing about they being aging, I feel that it's very meaningful to be able to journey with someone in this last part of their life. If I can make a difference to that, even in the 1 hour that I talk to them, I bring meaning and joy to their life, I find it very meaningful and purposeful. What is frustrating about work is that I think a lot of times we see clients whom we feel that if they spend more time and they are committed to working on the issues, the problem can be resolved more thoroughly. But what happens is a lot of people, sometimes they are not committed to a process. Maybe when things get a little bit better, they will disappear. The next time they will appear again when they cannot cope with the problem. And when they come back, they just want a quick fix to the problem. And it's quite difficult for us. Okay, so going forward, right, I really hope when people look at elderly, they don't look at them in a very stereotypical way. Like a lot of people like to say elderly are very stubborn. Actually, there are young people who are very stubborn as well. When you look at older people, just look at them as individuals with their likes and dislikes, with their wish, their hopes, just like any one of us. I also hope going forward, when people have problems, they will step forward and seek help more readily and not look at going for counselling as something very shameful. Even if they seek help, they have to be very secretive, don't want to let people know. So I hope this whole stigma about seeking help when you have an issue will be lifted up. That's my hope for the future.